to do a silk 1.5 45 catch behind the back. So the first thing that you're going to need to learn is how to do the silk 1.5 45. When I demonstrate this toss, I'm going to be facing the back. That way you can go ahead and see where my arm placement is in my release as I'm working up to catching behind my back. So the first thing that we're going to do is that silk 1.5 45, and I'm just going to catch it normally. 5 and 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out. So whenever you're working up to this, what I would do is I would start with doing a couple 1.5 45s, making sure that you're tossing and you're releasing close to you. You don't want your flag to be too far away, because if it's too far away, when you go to execute the behind the back catch, you're not going to be able to catch it. So you're going to want to do that a couple times. The next thing that I like to do is I like to catch it one-handed with my right hand. So let's take that. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out. And so that time, that was a little further out, and it was a little over-rotated, as you saw. I'm catching with my right hand underneath, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to reinforce the fact that I'm going to go ahead and catch it behind my back. So let's take that one more time, focusing on the release. 5 and 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out. And that was a lot closer. So that's what we're looking for on those catch behind the backs, making sure that when you're releasing, that your arm on your release point isn't pushing too far over to the left. That's going to be really important. If you push that arm too far to the left, then your silk is going to go to the left, and you're going to have trouble with not only placing your toss, but catching your toss. So the next step to this is going to be the catch. Now, on the silk toss, you can catch it behind the back a couple different ways. You can catch it at a 45, you can catch it flat, or you can catch it at a down angle. For this video, I'm going to be catching it flat. So make sure that whatever release or whatever catch that you do, when you get there, you're really squeezing and making it strong going into it. You never want to catch and bring that silk down. You always want to try and catch it right at whatever angle you need to do to execute the toss correctly into the catch. So this time, we're going ahead and just go for it. Before we do that, it's really important that when you're going into the catch, you release with that right hand, and your right hand is going to come down, and it's going to go to the small of your back, and your hand is going to be facing away from you. You don't want to try and grab overhand, because that's not going to work for your catch. So make sure that you're always trying to grab away from you, and that you're also aiming for the tab. So throughout any kind of behind the back or backhand catch that you do, you always want to make sure that you're spotting the tab of the flag, so you can understand what the rotation is and where you're going to place your hand. The other thing that's going to happen is on the release, this left hand here is going to come from my left to my right shoulder. It's going to come from here around to my shoulder, so that when I go into my catch, that there's no kind of arm in the way. Now, stylistically, you can do a free arm with it on the catch, whatever the choreography dictates. But for this purpose, we're just going to do without a free arm. And then the next tip that I have before we actually go ahead and go for it is whenever you're going into the catch, make sure that you're anticipating what your flag is going to do. You're going to have to work your way up to a perfect toss where you can just stand there and not move at all and go ahead and go into the catch. But if you need to adjust a little bit, by moving those hips, just make sure that you're really thinking about waiting until the last second to do that. That way you're not creating any bad habits. Because the whole point of technique is to make sure that whenever we're doing this, that we're working up and building up our skills so that we can be more consistent. So let's go ahead and try it. 5 and 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out. And let's go ahead and try that again. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out.